Welcome to Scott Cooks. Today I'll be making a cognac infused beef stew in the Ninja Foodi. This is going to be great. Stay tuned. Let's go over some ingredients. First, you're going to need a pretty high quality cognac. I'll be using this one. Beef or vegetable broth. Today I'll be using vegetable broth. You're going to need some kind of oil, grapeseed for me, some garlic cloves, white potatoes, of course your beef for your beef stew. I got about 1.5 pounds here. And a good size onion, say medium size onion. We're going to do everything in the Ninja Foodi. And we're going to be searing this meat to infuse it with the cognac. And then we're going to slow cook it for the rest of the day. Let's get this thing rolling. A couple additional ingredients I forgot to mention because they were still in the refrigerator. Some carrots and some white mushrooms. Let's get started. Alright, first thing I'm going to do is turn the Ninja Foodi on sear saute and put it on medium heat. Add about 1 tablespoon of oil, canola, olive, grapeseed. It'll all work just fine. Get some stuff out of the way here and get ready to go. While we're letting that oil heat up, we're going to chop up our onion. I'm just going to rough cut it because it's going to be cooking down. Saute the onion a little bit first. Then it's going to cook down throughout the rest of the day in the stew. Let's get all this skin out of the way here. You do want to start this thing up kind of early, y'all, if you're going to plan on eating it the same day. It's 9 o'clock in the morning here. And we're going to cook this for about 7 hours. In my opinion, some of the best beef stews, or any kind of stew really, is something that slow cooks. Let's let those flavors infuse, mingle. All right, guys, I'm going straight in the Foodies with the onions. You're going to hear that immediate sizzle. Now we're going to go ahead and go in with our beef. Now we're just looking to brown and saute this beef, guys. We're not trying to cook it all the way through, but we do need to infuse some of this cognac in it. Now this step might vary slightly for you, depending on a couple things. One, how much meat did you put in the Foodi? And two, how much cognac do you want in there? So we're going to start off with 1/4 cup. And the goal here is to reduce this down to nothing. We just want the flavor left. We don't want the alcohol. Let's start with 1/4 cup. Let's see where we're at. Whoa, man, the flavors, wow, just come bursting out. So what we're going to do is mix all this together. And we want to reduce the cognac to nothing. Okay. I have quite a bit of meat in here, almost 1.5 pounds, so I am actually going to add another 1/8 of a cup. And that should do it for me. Again, with the stirring, let you see the liquid in the bottom. So we're just going to evaporate this alcohol. At the same time, we're searing our onions and meat. And we're also going to go ahead and throw a little of my favorite seasoning in. And again, this seasoning is pretty intense. You don't need a whole lot. Ooh, my house is already smelling good. Better than an air freshener. All right, while this is sauteing and evaporating, let's get our garlic ready to go in. You might have seen me do garlic before. I'll show you again. Little trick to getting this skin off. All right, first thing I like to do is just snip off the ends. Don't want those anyway. A little tough. So I think this is actually too close. So I got like 4 cloves of garlic here. So you just take a flat knife, smash it, smash it, smash it. And after you smash it, the skin will literally just fall off in your hand. And that's it, guys. It's about as simple as it gets for garlic. I'm sorry, I'm losing my voice. I've seen so many channels where they struggle and struggle and struggle and struggle with the garlic, and there's an easier way, people. All right, we're just gonna finely chop this and throw it right in there. Get it sauteing too. I always like to put the garlic in closer to the end, because garlic, especially cut this thin, garlic tends to burn up on you. We'll just get that mixed in with everything else. Check our liquid. Yeah, we're almost there. And now I'm going to just rough cut some mushrooms and throw those in as well. Need to wash them up a little first. Rough cut white mushrooms. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them here that I'm using because that's all I had left. We'll be adding that broth here in a minute. We're still reducing the cognac. If there's anything else you guys like in your beef stew, this is about the time to do it. We'll get those potatoes in here in a minute as well. First, we got to get this stuff all done and get everything reduced down. And once we get our broth in, we'll be adding in the potatoes. Mix that up a little bit. Ooh, doesn't that look good? All right, now, looks like our meat got a little pink, so we're just browned. Most of the liquid is gone. I think any liquid we're seeing right now actually came from the meat. Over to the edges where it pools. Yeah, there's still a little going on there. So we're going to saute this a couple more minutes. And then we'll get to the next step. I've got 3 monster-sized potatoes here. These are white potatoes. I'm going to leave the skin on. You could certainly peel yours if you wanted to. I like the skin on when I'm doing a slow cook. The skin just sort of evaporates into it eventually, and just adds a really good flavor to it. These are going to be cubed. You know, we want these bite-sized. To think about if you're going to take a bite of potato. What do you think? About like that, I imagine. Oops, drop a piece, but that's about the size we're looking for. Not quite ready to go in there with those yet. All right, we're looking pretty good over here on the beef stew side of things. All right, guys. I've got 32 ounces here. I'm going to use it all. No need to measure. Like I said, you can also use beef. I like to use vegetable broth. I want the beef flavor really coming from the meat itself. But I've done it both ways. All right, that takes care of the broth part. And obviously the potatoes and carrots are going in next. Leave your Foodi on medium saute. We're going to get this up to a little bit of a simmer here. Let's cut the rest of these potatoes up. And as I'm cutting, I'm just going to go ahead and just put them right over into the Foodi. All right, I'm going to stop talking because I will fast forward this in the edit. Cutting 3 potatoes into cubes into the Foodi. Here we go. All right, guys, I'm going to stop right there. Those potatoes were so large. That is all I want in there, and I'll show you why. As you can see, that is more than enough potato. In comparison with the meat and the other and the carrots that I'm about to add in. So I've got these little mini cut carrots. So I'm going to just basically slice these in half and just chuck them right in. Around here, we love carrots in our beef stew. So that's not enough. Let's add even more. What do you think, guys? I think that's enough. And we've got a couple more little steps here. We're going to add some more seasoning. You always want to add your seasoning a little at a time so you don't over season it. Over seasoning is worse than, or as bad as, under seasoning. And now we're going to do something that's very unusual and very specific to the Ninja Foodi. I'm actually going to pressure this now. We're going to put this under pressure for about 10 minutes. And the reason is, the Ninja Foodi, although it has slow cook modes on it, is not quite as good as like a crock pot in my opinion. These potatoes will still be kind of hard even after 6 or 7 hours. I've tried this many ways, so this device is great for a lot of things, but to get potatoes tender, I'm just going to sort of tenderize them right off the bat with a little pressure. Just the way I'm going to do it. Pressure lid on. Set it to seal. Switch over to pressure. Defaults to high. Give it a good 10 minutes. Release the pressure. And just leave the lid on vent and switch it over to slow cook for the remainder of the day. Now, about 2 hours before this is done, I'm going to add about 1 cup of frozen corn kernels. I don't want to add those in now. They're just going to turn to mush. So about 2 hours before, I'll put those in, and I'll show you that. All right, I'll bring you guys back after the pressure's been released, and I'll show you the difference in the potato. All right, guys, we're coming to the end of our 10-minute pressure cook. So we'll do a quick release right now and switch this over to slow cook. Always use something other than your hand. Some really hot stuff coming out of here. You don't want your hand on that. All right, button's about to drop. So let me go over what I did again. I did a 10-minute pressure on high for 2 reasons. One was to slightly start the softening of the potatoes, because in my experience, slow cook, even for 7 or 8 hours, left the potatoes a little harder than I preferred. You might like them like that. And the other reason was to further infuse these flavors. So 10 minutes under pressure just took all of the flavors in there and just like that. And it really does make a difference. And the button is about to drop. There it went. Safe to remove the lid. Now we're going to put the lid back on. We're just going to take a look right now. Oh, yeah. Let me get you a shot of that. Now, technically, that'd be ready to eat. So if you were in a big old hurry, you could call it done. Technically, it's ready. Potatoes might be still a little hard, so if you wanted to add another 10 minutes to the pressure, I think you could call it done. Anyway, let's get this guy on slow cook. That is fantastic. I'm just checking the potatoes. Yeah, they're hard, but they're not. See, I can bust one. That's exactly what I want to do. That was perfect. Lid goes back on. Now, when you've already got steam and heat, you can't force this lid on, y'all. Let the weight do the work for you. It's just settling. Just give it a little press. And there you go. But if you tried to force it, it wouldn't go because you got rising steam coming down. So we're going to leave that on vent. I'm going to go ahead and set this. We are filming. Yep, we're going to go ahead and set this on slow cook now. Okay, we're going to reduce that to slow-low. And start it. Defaults to 8 hours, which is the highest it will go. I believe on high, the default is 4 hours, so you would have to set a timer to remind you to come back and add more time to it if you want to try to do it on high. Well, that's it, guys. At 2 hours before, I'm going to open the lid, throw in a cup of frozen corn kernels, mix it up, put the lid back on, and give it the final 2 hours. So I'll see you back when it's time for the corn. Okay, it's, I don't know, about 5 hours later. I'm going to remove the lid now, and we're going to add in a cup of corn kernels. And we're also going to check on things, give it a little stir, and all of that. Oh man, that sure does smell good, y'all. Yeah, nice and thick. Now, if you want to thicken this up, you can make a little flour water mixture. You could throw it on sear saute on high and just evaporate some of the liquid. And I'm going to do a potato test. I'm going to pull one potato out, let that cool. Potato test. And back with the lid. Now again, because there's a lot of steam and heat going on, the lid's not just going to fit. You're just going to have to very light pressure until it fits right on. And there you go, back in business. Check back in an hour or so, 2 hours, and this thing is ready. Okay guys, it's time to thicken up this beef stew. And that is as simple as 1-to-1 ratio. We're going to do 2 tablespoons of real butter, 2 tablespoons of all-purpose flour. And that's all you need to thicken up just about anything. So we're going to cut ourselves off 2 tablespoons here. Split that in half. Use our handy dandy microwave behind me. And we're just going to melt this down and then add 2 tablespoons of flour. Combine it and then slowly pour it into the beef stew and it'll thicken right up. All right. About half melted. I like to be able to kind of just squish it around. So that was 20 seconds. That's one. And I just like to use the back of a knife or something to scrape off the top of this measuring device. And that is 2. And I just kind of like to mash it all down in there like that. And we're just going to combine this. And this is, I may be mistaken, you can correct me, but I believe this is called a roux. Pretty sure it is. And you want it to look like that. All right, let's get the lid off the Foodi. Now sometimes I like to temper mine, and for that, all I do, be able to see me here, is take a little liquid, hot liquid, just a little bit. Sort of add it in there with it. You can see that. Brings it about to this right temperature. That way it doesn't just all congeal up on you when you get it in the pot. All right, let's thicken this thing up. We're going to start with just a spoonful here. And you can accidentally over thicken. So we want to combine. A little at a time. And as we get this heated back up again, we'll know how thick or thin we're getting it. We've got quite a bit of volume in here, so I'm probably going to use it all. But again, I do like to go a little at a time. I'm already starting to see a little bit thickening happening here. I don't want it real thick. I also don't want it to be soup. So this is the 2 tablespoons. I'm going to use it all. And the best way to, air quote, activate this stuff is to go ahead and put it on sear saute. So switch your Foodi over, sear saute, go ahead and put it on high. And let's get this thing up to a good boil, and then we'll cut the heat back or off. And then that way, we'll know exactly, but I can already tell you we thickened it. Yeah, that's nice. And this will just thicken it up just a little more. All right. Bring you back when we got a boil going. All right, that took less than a minute. We're bubbling away here. And I can tell you from stirring, it is at least twice as thick as it was before I did that. And that is about the consistency I want my beef stew to be. It's not soupy, but it isn't all congealed up either. And this will just get thicker, especially after, we're not going to eat all this tonight, so after I put it in the fridge and we reheat it again for tomorrow, or whenever we reheat it. Let's let that bubble on up again. Well, I wish you could smell what I smell. Oh my goodness. You know, a big part of food to me is the smell, the presentation. You know, I like the whole package. I don't just want to sit down and eat something. I want to see it. I want it to be presented nicely. I want to smell it. You know, we go into all this trouble to cook something. We'll do it up, y'all. Oh, I think we got beef stew, people. All right, we're not quite ready to serve. I'm going to make up a little bread in the oven. So what I'm going to do is just take a Foodi, power it off. I'm going to go ahead and put my lid on just to retain the heat. And it'll keep on sizzling and bubbling in there for at least another 10-15 minutes. Leave that vent on. And that's it. We'll plate it up here in just a little bit. Well, there you have it. Cognac infused beef stew, cooked in the Ninja Foodi. Got beef, carrots, potatoes, corn, onions, garlic, Himalayan pink salt, and pepper. If you like this video, please subscribe to the channel. Click the like button. Click that bell for notifications. Leave me some comments, as always. Make sure you check the description for links to Patreon and stuff like that. I want to thank everybody for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. And I hope you guys give it a try in your Foodi. Wow, the flavor is amazing, guys.